I'm gonna show you how to get a girlfriend within 24 hours. I first discovered this a few years ago when I was getting no women at all. I had been single for months. And finally, I matched with this pretty attractive girl on Tinder, and we had planned to hang out. But then she ghosted me. I was pretty sad, I was pretty pissed off, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna figure out how to get a girlfriend within 24 hours. I do not know how I'm gonna do this, but this is just gonna happen. And within 24 hours, I got a girlfriend. Now, that relationship didn't work out, but since then, I've done this many, many times, and I've sharpened this to an almost scientific level of precision. And I get texts like this all the time from clients. I worked with this guy for a couple weeks. He said, I've got a date booked in tomorrow, and another girl has said the only date she can meet me is Tuesday. So I'm gonna show you guys how to do this today. Let's get into it. Step number one is you need to remove the mental girlfriend governor. And I'll explain what that means, but this is very important. This is key. The mental girlfriend governor. Okay, so when I was a kid, I had something called a mini bike, which was like this little dirt bike kind of thing. And on this mini bike, there was something called a governor screw. And this was basically a screw that limited how far you could pull the throttle back. So when I removed this screw, I was able to go much, much faster. And a lot of guys these days have what I call a mental girlfriend governor. This is a collection of psyops that create limiting beliefs and prevent them from having success with women. There are a lot of psyops going on right now, okay? You have to understand that there are certain countries, there are certain entities that benefit from American, European guys being single and not reproducing. Like, for example, you have to look like a male model to have success with women. Okay, let me tell you, the other day I was in a downtown area and I see like this attractive blonde girl walking out of a shop. And I'm about to walk up to her and I'm about to talk to her. And then I see her boyfriend walk up and start talking to her. Okay, this guy was like a 5'7", not very attractive Asian guy. Not impressive at all. Dating this very hot white blonde girl, okay? So I see this all the time everywhere I go. Like, you just have to open your eyes. You go to the mall, you see an ugly guy with an attractive girl. I see this everywhere. It's insane. Like, you have to have money. Okay, when I was in Indonesia, I met an Indonesian guy who lived in a hut. He literally lived in a hut that looked like this. And he had a hot French girlfriend. Like, she was actually hot by anybody's standards. And he had met this girl while she was literally visiting as a tourist. And somehow she moved into the hut with him. He attracted her, okay? You don't have to have money. Another psyop, it's hard or it takes a lot of time to get a girlfriend. It takes a 3 to 5 minute conversation with a girl to get a date, okay? And you are designed to get a girlfriend. You have literally been programmed for hundreds of thousands of years to get a girlfriend. You have thousands of ancestors that have successfully reproduced. So you come from a long line of guys who have gotten it, okay? Now that we have that out of the way, now we need to decide where you're going. And I get this question a lot from guys. It's like, where do I go to meet women? Should I go to here? Should I go to there? And it's kind of like asking me, like, Joseph, where do I go to find groceries? I'm gonna tell you at the store where there's groceries, right? So where to meet women? Wherever there's people in your city, okay? Parks, downtown streets, Target, Barnes and Noble, okay? Bars, clubs, anywhere where there's people. I want you to make a mental note right now of where am I gonna go to meet women, all right? Have you picked it out yet? All right, let's continue. So now you have to transport yourself to the location. And a lot of times, you know, back in the beginning, when I first started talking to a lot of women, I would get like this sort of feeling in my stomach of nervousness when I was about to go talk to some girls. It's sort of like that feeling, you know, I used to run track, and when you would get down on the line and before you're about to do your race, you would just feel like, oh my gosh, this is about to happen right now. You would get that nervous feeling, right? And it's the same thing a lot of guys get with women. So on the way, what you want to do is you want to hype yourself up and have good morale. Tell yourself that there's nobody smoother than you. I'm serious, like actually tell yourself this. There's nobody more funny than you at all in your whole city. Better at conversation. You're so good at talking to women. Women love talking to you. You're a fun person to be around. Women love hanging out with you. They want to be your girlfriend. They want to be with you forever. Every single girl loves you. I am 100% serious to tell yourself this. All right? This is what all the famous athletes do, all of the best athletes. You might have heard of Mike Tyson, okay? Mike Tyson, he had this mentor called Cus D'Amato. And Cus D'Amato basically brainwashed him and had him convince himself that he was basically like God, essentially. Now, you shouldn't go to that level, but it's still very helpful. Okay? This is going to help you a lot to get into the mode of like, I'm an absolute killer. This is just going to happen. All right, step 4. Now you're at the location. There's tons of attractive women walking around. You know, there's one over there that's a blonde. She has a very great body. There's one over there that's a brunette. She's pretty cute. All right, so now what you want to do is you want to go talk to a girl unapologetically and playfully. Unapologetically because you're just a guy and there's nothing wrong with being a guy who likes women, all right? Don't let them psyop you, all right? You're not sorry. You're not going up to the girl like, hey, I'm really sorry for, you know, bothering you right now. No, don't do that. Just own it, man. Like, anyone who tells you that this is wrong, they're just weak. I just don't like them. And also playfully, you don't want to, you know, I'm a pretty ambitious guy. I work with a lot of pretty ambitious guys. And we go to the gym, we work a lot, and so we're very serious. We're in a logical mind frame. But when it comes to women, you want to be in a playful mind frame. Why do you want to do that? Well, it's because it allows the girl to feel feminine. It like brings her back to her youth and it allows her to feel feminine rather than having that, you know, masculine shield that a lot of women have in the workplace. Now, why else is it good to be playful? Think about like evolutionary psychology. Think about like the king caveman. If you were a playful caveman, it must be because you're the king caveman, right? You must have like a bunch of jesters, dancing women, like people feeding you grapes, like athletic games going on, okay? So you being playful is like creates value in itself and it brings the girl's guard down and it makes her feel feminine, all right? So that's what you want to do. Don't worry about all like 25 different mindset hacks at all. It's going to confuse you in the moment, all right? I'm trying to keep this video simple. So you see the girl. What you want to do is you want to get in front of the girl and make sure that she sees you. And you don't want to get in front of her so that like you're literally 2 steps in front of her and then you're like, hey, and then you scare her. Don't do that. Make sure the girl sees you and then raise your arm halfway, like, excuse me. And raising your arm halfway, it's like a Star Wars Jedi move. They just stop, okay? It just works. It's just like human psychology. And then you say, hey, I was heading this way to go meet my friend, but, you know, I saw you walking by. You're cute. I just wanted to say hi. That's it. Some variation, some compliment you want to throw in there. It could be like, you just have an elegant way of walking. I had to come say hi. Anything like that, guys. It doesn't really matter. And then you just pause for a beat. And then you keep talking, okay? So now what you want to do is you just want to talk to the girl for a few minutes. Create some attraction. Talk about whatever you want to talk about. But make sure that you're flirting with her. You're not just having like this lame conversation talking about how the grass is green and the sky is blue. So here's something you can do. I'm not going to get into depth in this video. You make observations like, oh, you seem like a gym girl. You seem like you do art or something. You seem like you're not from here. And then what you want to do is you want to tease the girl, okay? Because we're not having this boring conversation, remember? We're messing around. We're being playful a little bit. You say to the girl, oh, you just do cardio? Oh, so no gains, huh? Teasing the girl. Now you flirt with the girl. Well, you know what? Don't ask me to go on a date running with you because I ain't coming. I hate running. All I do is hit the gym. I'm I'm a bit of a meathead. You know, you're flirting with her, you're throwing out the idea of a date, but it's in a negative. I have other videos on this, guy, so you can go check them out. Now you ask the girls questions. Like, you know, you give me the vibe you're not from here. Where are you from? Oh, you're from New York? Oh, I could never live there. It's like so cold. I like the heat, you know. I like not wearing 15 layers in the winter, walking around and I can't even move my arms. See, I'm being playful. I'm learning about the girl. I'm flirting with her. That's it. That's all you have to do. Do that for a few minutes, and a lot of these women you're going to create attraction with. They're going to be like, "Wow, who's this bold guy who walked up to me?" Nobody ever does this because all the other guys are so weak and they're so scared to talk to me. This guy must have some value. I should probably go on a date and hang out with this guy. And by the way, if you're one of the guys watching this who actually is taking action on this stuff, like you want to transform your dating life, you want options, you want to consistently be able to go on dates with attractive women, and you want my help with this stuff, I'm doing a few discovery calls for free right now. Click the link in the description. Back to the video. All right, so now you want to ask to hang out, even if it seems that she's neutral towards you, because girls aren't always going to give you massive signs of interest, like licking an ice cream cone seductively while looking at you. Now, if a girl's doing this, like this picture I put here, then yeah, you should definitely close her. But more than often, girls are trained to not show a ton of interest initially or be the first one to make a move for fear of being judged by society. They just don't want to seem like a slut, to be frank with you. So they don't want to show a ton of interest generally. Now, there are going to be some women who are going to be like very super down, very forward and open with you, but generally not. So even if she's neutral, just ask the girl to hang out. Girls instinctively want to be led by men, and so you have to lead the conversation to victory. All right, so now you close. You tell the girl something like, you know what, you seem like pretty fun to talk to actually. Let's get some coffee sometime. Or, you know what, I gotta go in a minute, but I'd love to hang out. Let's get some drinks sometime. It's that simple, guys. It's literally that simple. Now you have a date. And the precise words don't matter, so don't like memorize this right now as like a line. It doesn't matter. All you want to do is have the idea, like, what do you want to do with the girl? Do you want to go get some coffee? You want to get a drinks? Or maybe she's like a girl under the age of 25. I would just say, let's hang out sometime. Honestly, that's very normal to just say, let's hang out if the girl is younger. Now, if the girl's like 30 years old, probably don't say, let's hang out. That seems a bit immature, right? So now all you do is you say, oh yeah, what's key is not the precise words. It's just the casualness of how you're saying it. Like, this is a good idea. Like, you know what, you seem like a fun person actually. Let's hang out soon. Super casual, like this is normal. I do this all the time essentially, is what you're conveying to the girl, but you don't let her know that. All right, and now you just pull out your phone and you're like, here, you can type in your phone number, it's easier. You don't want to get the girl to say her number. You don't want to get the Instagram, because that's lame. Everybody has access to her Instagram. So get the girl to type in your phone number, and while she's typing in your number, don't stare at her creepily like an idiot. What you want to do is you want to look into the distance like a badass as she types her number into your phone that is also filled with the numbers of many other attractive women. But hopefully none of these other attractive women text you at the same exact moment that she's putting her number into your phone. Or I don't know, maybe that will actually make her jealous. Maybe that could work, I don't know. So that's all you want to do to close, guys. Now you have the number, you've planned a date, you've had a great conversation with this girl, built attraction. Okay, oh yeah, don't immediately leave after closing. Okay, like if you're newer to this, it's tempting to run away with the number, like this picture of Usain Bolt running with the baton. It's very tempting because you get the number, you're like, all right, this is it. I can leave now. I can stop talking to women now. You don't want to do this. You want to stay in the conversation for at least a minute or two and keep the playful vibe going and then depart. Okay, now why do we do this? Well, it can kind of seem like a bit weird, like a pickup, if you just leave, if you just run away with a number. Now, what's another reason? Well, now that you've had the number, you've basically went up a level in comfort and connection with the girl. So now that you've got the number and you're talking to her, you're interacting with her on a deeper level. Does that make sense? Like you're no longer strangers with the girl. And it's good for solidifying the number and really solidifying the date so that it's not just like a flaky number that the girl doesn't text you back or whatever. Okay? All right, so step 8, you've approached one girl, but is that all you're gonna do, man? Like, there's so many. I see a ginger girl over there. She's kind of hot. Oh, I see a European girl over there, a Japanese girl over there. She's kind of hot too, dude. Like, are you gonna stop at one girl? No, keep going. Because especially you gain some momentum. At first, when you do this, you can be a bit stiff. You can be a bit like rusty, right? But then you get broken in, sort of like a Birkenstock sandal or sort of like a pair of boots. And then you become relaxed. You get warmed up. It's sort of like when you're playing a sport. You want to stretch the muscles first. You want to warm up. Take a few practice shots. All right? And so here's like the scientific cycle that's going to happen. Is when you have more success, you're going to have a greater feeling of abundance. Like you're going to feel like, okay, now I have multiple numbers. I have multiple leads. I'm going on multiple dates. Now you feel non-needy. You don't feel like you need each individual girl. And that leads into feeling more relaxed and being more like casual with the women that you talk to. And then that leads into more success. And this cycle just sort of loops around until you've reached escape velocity and you're getting more success than 95% of other men. This is legitimately how it works. And you become like this steam engine, this unstoppable force, guys. Okay? All right, but now you have the number. So now you have to text the girl and set up a date still, right? So here's what you want to do. And this is key. This is fundamental. You want to ask the girl to hang out quickly, and you don't want to be a dork. You don't want to, and what I mean you don't want to be a dork, you don't want to be like this guy who's like, I'm going to wait a week to text this girl, and it's going to create a ton of attraction with her. She's going to know that I'm super non-needy. This doesn't work, guys. Don't do this. Because what's going to happen is you're going to lose the momentum that you already had with the girl. She might forget about you. I mean, if you only talk to a girl for 5 minutes and you text her a week later, what do you think is going to happen? She's probably not going to remember you unless you just had an amazing impression on her, okay? So don't be a dork. You want to cash out. You don't want to be like the guys a few years ago who made like 10 times their money on Bitcoin and then they just held all their Bitcoin and then it crashed and they didn't sell it and they wish they would have sold it. So you want to text a girl. And when you text a girl, don't attempt to deepen her attraction over text message. It's ineffective and it's a waste of your time. There's not much you can do to create attraction with a girl over text message. It's very simple what you want to do here, guys, is you essentially just ask the girl to hang out. You are just planning logistically. Okay, let's hang out here. And then you just hang out with her. All right, step 10. If she's being difficult when you're trying to plan something, here's what you do. Just assume that she's a silly girl. Just assume that she's in La La Land. She's like playing with dolls or something. Just be chill, okay? Because if you start to get passive aggressive, if you start sending crazy, like, long text messages, a ton of messages, the girl's gonna think you're needy, okay? So that's too much. And your mindset should be like, yeah, it'd be cool if we hung out, but I don't really care if this doesn't happen. Like, I have other options. That's your mindset when you talk to women and you're texting women. And the reason why you're not worried about this one specific girl that you had a good interaction with is because you're not putting all your eggs in one basket. You've broken out of that psyop, of that Disney movie sort of fairy tale theory where you just talk to one girl, you have a good conversation with her, and that's gonna be the one for sure. That's gonna be the one that I live happily ever after with. It doesn't, guys, this isn't a fairy tale. There's not one girl for you. There's millions of girls that you could potentially have an amazing relationship with. So go meet some more women and you'll cease to stress out about each individual lead. That's legitimately how it works. The more numbers you get, the more women that you have like are on dates with, the less you care about each individual girl. You become in abundance. And this is why guys who like are in scarcity with women, it's a huge deal when it doesn't work out with a girl, right? They're just not talking to enough women. That's it. Once again, if you're one of the guys watching this who wants to unlock the ability to consistently go on dates with attractive women and you want my help with this stuff, I'm doing a few discovery calls for free right now. You can go ahead and just click the link in the description for that. That's all I have for today, guys. I'll see y'all in the next one.